Hi, welcome to the Friedman Wrestling Center in Ithaca, New York. My name is Rob Cole. I'm the head wrestling coach here at Cornell University. Today I'm going to teach the Whizzer. All right, first of all, we're going to learn what a Whizzer is. Right? It's not a guy with a black hat, pointy tip. Whizzer is going to be essentially an overhook. And we're going to start off with my partner just doing a wrap around your arm around the man's waist. I'm going to come around and grab the Whizzer. This is a Whizzer. A Whizzer, in my opinion, is a lost art. In the old days, everyone did the Whizzer, and we've gotten away from it quite a bit. I had a great deal of success defensively as well as offensively using the Whizzer, and I think it's something that people can take huge advantage of if the opponent doesn't know how to use it. So, first things first, you start off to learn this little drill. He grabs me around the waist. I come up around his armpit, right here. One thing that people make a big mistake on with the Whizzer is they think it's all about the arm. The only thing the arm is doing is holding him in place. All the power from the Whizzer is coming from my hips. Right here. Here. That's the Whizzer. Right? And the Whizzer can be used when a guy hits a single leg on me, when he hits a double leg, if he hits a high crotch. Right? Essentially, any move that this man hits on me, I'm going to try to use that Whizzer. One little drill I'm going to use to teach this Whizzer, we're going to do a drill from our knees, and we're going to do it as well from our feet. First drill I want is we're going to start both men on our knees, have one guy start on a single leg. Just grab a single leg. And the idea of this drill is to learn how to use your hips, how to use that core strength in order to defend this single leg. My arm is basically what I'm going to try to do, stop with the arm, is going to stop him from turning that corner. Because he's going to try to get around me. Turn the corner. Try to go right there. So I'm going to hold him up here with my Whizzer so he can't turn that corner. And two, I'm going to pop him with my hips. So if he tries to come around, bam, his head is going to go into the mat. And that's what I really want to do. So our little drill. So I've got my Whizzer. Right? I'm going to be on my toes. I'm not going to be on my knees right here. He's going to try to turn the corner, and I'm going to try to make him take his hand and post. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Notice what I'm doing with my hips. I'm popping my hips, learning how to use my hips as I'm popping into him. What I don't want him to do is get below my knee. If his grip goes to below my knee here, my Whizzer becomes worthless. I lose all my power in my hips. So the hips are good as long as he's above the knee and up. Second he drops below the knee, I've got to go to some different defenses. So, right here. He's on his knees. We're not going to wear out. Go. What kind I'm doing? I'm turning my hip. I'm popping him as hard as I can. Bam. And now I'm going to square up. All right. So we're going to do that over and over and over again. Try to learn how to pop. Because what a lot of youth programs, a lot of young kids will do, just learning this Whizzer, go ahead and start again, is they'll try to do this. Go ahead and turn the corner. Go ahead and turn it. And he's gonna go ahead and do it as hard as he can, right? And all I'm trying to do is stop him with my arm. If I just try to stop him with my arm, go. I can't do it. I might be very, very strong, but my arm cannot stop his whole body. Ready? Go. Turn it. Oh, maybe you can. Come on, turn the corner hard. Ready? Go. Can't do it. Unless he's being a very easy partner for me. Right? But now watch. Same thing. When I turn my hip and attack him on this, go. I basically rip his shoulder off. And that's what I want to do. I want to take those hips and pop him as hard as I can. So when people think of a Whizzer, they think of this arm. It's not about the arm. It's about this. And that's the drill I want you to work on. Pop. Now, if I'm not using arms and I do this drill, all I'm going to do is go right by his body. Ready? Go. So I need to have this arm holding him into my hip so that when I lay down the hip power, boom, right there it is. Right? So from that's our first drill. Second drill, he's actually on a double leg. Now here, you can't wait. You've got to really turn your hips into this man and meet him as quickly as you can. Boom. And I'm going to actually try to grab his forearm as I'm popping, because I'm going to try to take him to his back here. Boom. Right. Starting off even more basic, because that's ultimately what we're going to do when he hits that shot. But just to learn that motion, I'm going to start chest to chest. My head on his side, double overhooks. So double overhooks, so basically double whizzers. It's a double whizzer motion. And just to learn this motion, you're down. All right, we're going to do a little drill. He's going to bear hug me. I'm going to go double overs or double whizzers, if you will. And what's going to make this move work is, one, my hip power, but two, I'm going to pinch his elbows together. I'm pinching them together, and I'm going to fall towards my head. I'm going to generate a great deal of hip power by falling to my head. It's going to do like this, all right? Where he's got a bear hug, and if I just do nothing here, he's going to crush me backwards. Right? So the last direction I want to go is back. I want to fall forward because I want to extend this man. So I'm here. I'm either going to get pinned or I'm going to fall forward. My partner doesn't want me to do that, but he doesn't have any choice. If I stay up here tight, he can overpower me. So I'm going to try to turn my body just like we're using a whizzer, and I'm going to let go of the upper arm. I'm going to go to his forearm here. Now that creates space so I can turn my body and look away. Here. Right? Here. My head's going to hit the mat. Turn your hips down. Don't fall. Don't fall. Right there. And that's where you're going to end up. He's still going to hold on probably. And he's ultimately going to try to let go. But I won't let him. Because I've got this pinch here. Now, if I don't turn my body, notice how I turn my body. If I just stay straight and I pinch, he can pull that arm right out. Pull it out. Tim can pull it right out. There. Here. Pull it out. But watch what I do. I turn my body. Now turn it out. Can't pull it out. Because what's happened is, instead of pulling straight out, by turning my body, he has to essentially pull his arm this way and then that. And I'm not holding very hard. But I've turned my body. Go ahead, pull. Can't pull it out. Here, I'll pull even harder. I'll hold much harder here. Ready? Go. Now watch. Go pull. Oh, you got it a little bit. All right, so it's not a matter of how hard you squeeze. It's the same idea as if this were a key. It's going in the lock, and then I turn so that lock is locked. And that's a little drill we're going to do. He locks up. I pinch. Turn the lock. My hip is going to come inside his hip. I'm going to learn to pin this man. Hopefully. All right. Now there's a lot of little things I just did there. I want you to see, so I'm going to turn. Right? So as I'm falling towards my head, my hip, notice where my hip is. My hip's not going to come over his hip. If I fall and my hip comes high, keep your hip down low. Right there, he can hit me over. Right? So I've got to get my hip underneath his hip. So I pinch, I fall to my head, and my hip, sometimes I'll even turn my hip all the way down, away from him. And then I drive on my toes. I can do it without capturing that other arm, but what will happen, turn a little bit, is my partner will just let go. So, if I don't capture, go ahead and bear hug me, all right? If I come here, I might get away from this bear hug. No, don't let go. Fall, hit the head just like same way, and I try to there. See how he lets go? He knows what's going to happen, so he lets go, and I try to turn, there. And that's what'll happen. So, if you want to start that drill off, because what happens, especially in young kids, young wrestlers, they're afraid to hit their head. So what they do is instead of falling and hitting their head, they do this, right there. And that might help. You still might get away. I turn the hip under his hip, but look what he just did. He let go, and now I can square up. So what I would recommend is we start off this drill with our hip. We're learning how to hit this whizzer off the bear hug. I fall, plant, then plant the head, then secure the arm, hip, 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 and pin. As your wrestlers get more and more comfortable with this, just do it slow motion. Pinch the arm, look away. Pinch, look away, fall. And you don't need to plant your head real hard. You can just plant your head gently. Now turn your inside hip down and drive with those toes. Do that a few times, nice and gently. And then when you get real good at it, it's going to be one motion. And you'll notice I'm on my knees now. When I really hit this move, I'll be driving almost instantaneously. Hold me up here. Instantaneously, I'll be driving like this, like that, and turning. And it'll look like this. All right, you ready? So at no time did my head hit the mat. And what works now, why this is so effective, is as I drive and hit the mat, I've got his arm, there's no place for my partner to go. So as I drive, it's making a little circle, drive. And it looks like I've got this great deal of power in my hips, and I do have some power in my hips, but I'm generating it not through just hip power, but through driving those feet, I'm driving on my toes, and I'm turning in a circle much smaller than the circle that he is in, and he can't follow me. So after a few seconds, if he were able just to keep following me very quickly, go ahead and follow, go ahead, keep going. He can just, there. Eventually, I can spin faster than he can. Or it's not that I'm spinning faster, it's that I've got less motion to cover, or less distance to cover than he has. And so that's a really good drill to learn this technique painlessly. Do it over and over again, the single leg, get the hip underneath his hip, don't come over top his hip, driving that circular motion, staying in the center, and learning how to take him off a shot to his back. Now, as you get better and better at this off of your knees, and your kids or you get more comfortable, then you're going to start doing it from standing, because realistically you're not always going to start on your knees. And real slowly, I'll just let him shoot. Right there it is. He's going to shoot. Basically, he's shooting across my body. Right? Or I should say, if whatever side I'm going to hip toss him, I'm going to make him shoot across my body. So if I know, if I see he's leading that leg, I know his double leg's coming here. As he shoots, I take that leg back and let him shoot across my body. I'm stepping back, and he's going, essentially, I'm forcing him to shoot across my body. I anticipate that double leg. I know he's got two things he can hit, or I should say only a few things he should hit. If I'm leading this leg, and he's leading that inside leg, he's not going to high crotch me. If he changes legs, now he can high crotch me. He can single leg me, or he can try to double leg me. And because I've got somewhat of a square stance now. As I feel that double leg coming, I step back, lower my level, boom. And I do a hip toss or a double whizzer hip toss, I guess you could call it. And we're going to drill that now. So I feel him coming, lower my level, step back, and my hip is below, or my hip is inside his body. My hip is inside, and I'm falling towards my head, plant, and get the pin. Next, as I said, he can hit a single leg, whizzer. If he hits a double leg, I'm going to bring him across the same motion. If he hits that high crotch, I'm going to do a whizzer, but I'm going to change my direction. I'm going to turn my hip in the opposite way. I can't whizzer him here. If I try to whizzer here, obviously I'm just going to go over. So I've got to turn and drive off these toes. Notice I'm driving on the toes. I'm going to pop him with the far hip. Boom. It's the same type of situation, but I'm going to have I'll probably end up with a whizzer here again. I'm going to drive and pop. And this whizzer is just coming here. Now if he comes up and grabs he might change off to the opposite leg from here. Boom! Right there. We're back in that whizzer. So once again, in slow motion, you feel him coming. I'm going to drive off those toes. I'm going to turn on that hip, and I'm going to throw a punch as hard as I can with this whizzer. Boom! Once again, I'm on my toes, driving. Go behind. So you've got the single leg defense when he hits above the knee. You've got the double leg defense with those whizzers. If he hits obviously double leg, if he goes high crotch, you're going to turn that hip in, throw the whizzer, throw the punch as hard as you can, coming the opposite direction. Problem arises if he hits a single leg and goes below the knee. If he gets below that knee, right here, go ahead and turn the corner, right there. Obviously I can't hit a whizzer. It's just not going to happen, right? But I can hit a whizzer in a different sense, kind of an adjusted whizzer. I'm going to grab my ankle, and my knee now is pointed towards him. I'm going to turn my hip in. I go to my hip and turn my hip in, right there. Right there. Now, realistically, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to just stalemate this if I can. So grab it hard, lock it out, lock it on my calf or my shin bone, and turn that knee in as hard as I can, right there. Try to put as much pressure on his shoulder as I can. I'm looking away, looking away, looking away. Right there. Right? So, below the knee, takes that knee, I grab my shin, turn it out as hard as I can, as hard as I can. If I'm able to turn all the way behind him and he's holding on tight, I can take this back leg, hook his ankle, do a somersault right to there. Show that again slowly. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. So if he gets it really tight, he allows me to lock on my ankle. I turn that hip in, and he's staying there really tight, and he won't give it up. Fight it hard, fight it hard. I'm looking, it's really tight in here. If it's very loose, you're not going to want to do this. But if it's tight, and I got the hip down, I like to step behind the ankle, extend. I'm just going to do a forward roll. Right there. Now, and here I've got my back points. I can come in, get my back points. One more time. Turn the hip down, turn the hip down. Hook. Forward roll. There's my back points. And from here I can grab his wrist, and he's going to be hard pressed to get out of there. I'll get my 5 count. If you're on your feet, you've got this whizzer, and you don't want to be here. A couple different things we can do defensively speaking. One, if the man comes in, a lot of times the guys will drape over and start cranking my arm, cranking this way, even grabbing, trying to rip it, right? If you don't like to be in this situation, which I don't understand, God forbid, you don't want to be in a whizzer, you can grab the fingers, come into your underhook. Personally, I'd like to stay there. Same type of motion. You can just throw it forward. All right. When I throw it forward, I'm going to step behind his legs. So if he's pressing, if he's digging that underhook really hard, right there, all I'm going to do is throw it forward, step behind. So it's going to be like this. Boom. The key to this is having him really dig that, feeling it come real hard, and he's stepping inside there. So it's not like he's squared up here. If I'm in this position, I'm not going to try to step behind his legs. But quite often, you'll get a guy who's digging that underhook and pushing in. Frank looking for knee taps. And if that's the case, he's digging that leg inside. It's real simple. Just to rotate the arm, step behind. Rotate, step behind. Where do you grab? You can grab a couple different places. You can come here. Let's come here. Lock the legs. You can grab both legs, which is a lot of distance. Make them fall behind you. Right there. I prefer keeping it really, really simple. All I'm going to do is rotate step. Inside my outside leg or outside arm is going to just go in his crotch. Boom. The reason I like this, I always like to be in this position. So now, if he turns into me, I can use arm Turk. If he turns away from me, I can hook it. I start going to a leg Turk series. Other side. He's digging in. He's pushing hard. Don't want to be there. I don't act like I don't want to be there. He pushes in hard. Step. Boom. All right. Another one which I do quite often, I show this in a lot more detail in my foot sweep video, is if he's digging hard, all I'm going to do is step away and ankle pick him from that whizzer. I want to be there, don't want to be, step away, ankle pick. Right. I take this whizzer. If I attack, if I feel him coming in, all I'm going to do is lower my level. This is the whizzer. You can hit almost anything from this overhook position. I feel him coming in. All I'm going to do is level change and take my body from this direction, 180 degrees opposite direction. I'm here, boom. Just hit all my fireman's carry motions from there. All right, just feel push away, he pushes back, boom. Block with my arm. I always have him coming forward. So as he's coming forward, step and drop. In that fireman's carry position. Another situation I like to get into from here. I love the overhooks. There's really not anything I can't do from it. I just take the man, inside tie, pull him down. You can almost do, there's not a whole lot of moves you can't do from here, except just basic shots. Hip, circle him down. So I get my hip inside his, boom, circle him down. And once again, it's the same principle as when we were doing the overhook before. From our knees, I want to have my hip inside his hip. So I hip, circle him down. So a really good way from an overhook situation, from a whizzer situation, to bring the man down, get him to his knees, where I'm in a much more powerful, controlling position. If you don't want to be in that whizzer from your feet, right? Or if a man defensively, if you don't want to be in that whizzer from your feet, a couple different things that I like to do. Although I like to be in the whizzer, simplest thing right here is just to grab the hands. There's really not a whole lot you can do with that to avoid it. Right? And sometimes if you're not comfortable in the whizzer and this man attacks you, it's really an uncomfortable situation and you know the guy is good there. Maybe you don't want to be in that whizzer. Just grab the fingers into a single. All right. A little more tricky. If the guy's pushing into you, I'm going to do a bowling motion. He pushes in, he's pushing in, just throw him right by. As I'm doing this, I'm going to take my outside leg, drop it on my, not the instep, the outstep, outside of my foot, here. And I'm going to do a scissor kick. So I'm feeling him pushing. I'm going to do it real slow. Step, bowling motion, throwing him right by. And the harder he pushes on this, the easier it is for me to make him go by. All I'm doing is level change. So essentially, you keep pushing. It's here. Now imagine I'm not here anymore. His body's going to do that. And so that's what I want to happen. And I'm going to make that happen by throwing it by. So I'm pushing, level change, catch it. One more time. Push, feel him pushing back. Boom. If you do that motion right, it looks a little dangerous, but if you do it right, the worst case scenario is you miss his legs and he runs by you. Right there. And either way, you're out of your overhook situation. From the mat. Defensively from the mat. All right. Right in this, if a man's got a whizzer on you, I want to do a limber arm. Now, a classic limber arm, guys will come in here and just throw it by. All right, that's fine, that's good. But I want, if this man's not pushing on me real hard, he's not going to go anywhere. That doesn't do any good. I want his weight to come forward. I want him to be flying by me as I hit this limber arm. And my limber arm, I'm going from palm down, turn it toward the sky. So I'm going to wave away from the head. This is so it's going away and up. Once again, it's kind of a bowling motion. But as I do this, I'm going to bring my whole thigh and I'm going to kick him right in the butt to get that forward motion. Because if I don't have that forward motion, he's just going to come up and look me in the eye. So I'm here, and I do this by running my hips around him. Here, I do a slide step. I bring one leg up, the inside leg up, outside leg comes in, kick him in the butt. Now, the little drill you're doing here, what we're going to do here, works great if your partner's not hitting a move, we're not doing anything, we're just sitting there, and this is how we're going to learn the move. So we'll just sit, okay? We're hip to hip, I bring the leg in, I kick, boom. Now, realistically, you're going to probably be on a leg, and so we want to learn it from this classic whizzer overhook. Knee comes in, boom, and you can drill it like that. But then you want to get to where you're doing it in a more realistic situation. So I'm going to have Tim do this to me. I'm going to whizzer. He's on a single. He's turning the corner, kicks me knees me in the butt, and throws the limber. Boom. Good. And that's the next drill. What we'll be doing is I'll do it. I get down here, he whizzers me, just turn the corner, boom. All right, good. We'll do that about 50 times. I'm in the whizzer. He's trying to square up on me. Stay square, boom. Good, and there's your limber arm. And then, as you get better at it, you want to hit it hard and fast. You good at this? You're gonna I did it. I'm gonna hit a single leg from your feet, turn the corner, limber arm. Right? Boom, boom. And the more you drill it, the more natural it'll become. It'll be almost second nature. But you need to drill it over and over again so it becomes instinctual. So when you hit that single leg, he whizzers, boom. It's almost instantaneous. You can't think about it. If you give me time to adjust, hit a single leg stops and just now you start to turn the corner, well, it's too late. Go ahead and turn the corner. Too late. You're not going to be able to limber arm me now. It's got to be when I'm hitting that down, your knee's already coming up, hit and smashing them in the butt so they can't come and face me, can't turn and face me as I hit that move. One of the cardinal sins that you'll hear is don't ever step over a whizzer. If a man, and we'll learn this from our knees, if I have a whizzer and he steps over me, boom, right there, all I'm going to do, this is exactly the position I wanted to be in. I wanted to get my hips inside his hips. All I'm going to do is plant on my head and hip high. Again, Other side. He steps over. And I go right to the pin. I like to bait people to step over the whizzer. So what I'll do if I have a nice whizzer in here and I know he feels comfortable, I actually turn my hip down and look away and let him do it. Get back off. So if I'm here, it's very unlikely that he'll step over my whizzer. He just doesn't feel comfortable. It's very high. It's just not a good situation for him. So what I'll do is to make it easy for him, make it almost irresistible, is I turn that hip down and I feel weak. I look away. And from here, he goes ahead and throws it. As soon as I feel it, boom. So once again, we're going to bait him. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm weak. This limber arm now. You can't let him just rip your arm off. You don't want him to come up on your head and cement me. Right there. So when you turn this hip down, you don't look into him, or else you're asking for a heap of trouble. You look away. And I even will grab my own stomach, or grab my singlet, right there. Look away, makes it almost impossible for him to stop. I'll block my knee so he can't throw the leg in there. Boom, as soon as I feel that, I might look like I'm completely helpless here, but I've got him. Boom. Right to the pin. So you've got to be really careful about stepping over a whizzer. Ideally you don't. That being said, I don't mind stepping around a whizzer. And so I'm going to teach how to step around a whizzer. That'll teach you a defense to stepping around a whizzer. So if I've got the whizzer in, quite often I'll hit this down and he'll bring that far leg up, straighten it up like this, there like that. That'll be there a lot, right? So I'm sorry, right there. Now, I don't want to step over because it's too high. I'll be hipped right over. But what I don't mind doing is stepping around it. And what I mean by stepping around it is my hip, I'm going to step around the hips. My leg's going to come this way. I don't step over it, I step around it. And I'm going to, so that if I step around it, now if he brings his hips up, they just come up that way. If I step over it and the hips come up, I'm in big trouble. All right? I'm going to get my leg, and I'm going to throw it in his thigh. I need to have a little bit of rubber in my legs, so I need to whip it hard. So, because I'm not just flexible enough just to take it and put it in there, I need to use some momentum so that my leg whips. Whoop, it goes in. Now, if I just whip, it's in. If I just try to do that by myself, I can't do it. Can't do it. But if I whip it, it goes in quite easily. So that's the way we're going to learn it. Have your partner stay right there, referee's position. I'm going to be, or up on your knees a little bit. Forward. There you go. You can even turn that knee out like you got a whizzer, like I got a whizzer, and you're keeping that leg out like that. That's where you'll see it a lot. I'm going to be facing him. Right? I got a right angle, and I'm going to learn how to whip it. Whip it, all right? Around, whip it, right there. Around the butt. And when you get good at that, let him throw that whizzer, and now I'm going to get close. I'm going to bring my knee near his shin, and I'm going to whip it. Whip it. And you'll notice I'm not stepping over it. If he brings his hips up here, you can almost slide out. Go ahead and step hips right up, right there. So once again, I'm there. Go ahead, bring it up. Boom, whip it. And once I get the leg up, if he tries to hip toss me now, boom, I've got a leg in. And I'm in good shape. Still kind of dangerous because some kids, you got to really learn how to make sure you get that leg in. You don't want to do it halfway. All the way around. Boom, there. I'm in good shape here. Once I get to there, I'm not going to let him hip me up over. If he does, he's in trouble. One more time. Just a different angle. Right? I'm down, he's whizzing me hard right there. Knee comes in, whoop, got it. And from here, if I want to, I just limber arm him by. I've got a leg in. Now there is a defense to that as well, but not many people know it, so you're probably pretty safe throwing that leg from that way. The whizzer. If he gets that leg in, boom. What we're gonna do is we're gonna catch the leg, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna roll, turning my head into him. I capture the leg, roll into him, cross my own back, right to a pin. So again, capture the leg, I'm looking into him. Go ahead and try to stop me. Boom. Right there. Once again, then you're not going to look away. There's going to be a temptation to try to do a Granby roll. You're going to grab that leg and do a Granby. And you're going to end up right here. It's a pretty big difference. I don't think you want to be there. So, you're not turning away from him and doing a Granby roll. What you're doing is the leg in, I capture that leg, I'm looking into him, kind of doing a reverse Granby. Capture the leg, boom. In my foot sweep video, I go into a lot of upper body throws from a foot sweep, which happened to be in a whizzer. Just to give you a few of those, pretty much everything I do upper body comes from the over-unders or the whizzer series. If you go overseas and into the European wrestling, lots of overhooks, lots of upper body throws from the overhook situation, and Americans generally get themselves in trouble because we prefer an underhook series. They, on the other hand, feel very, very comfortable in here. And a lot of it is just a matter of being there enough to where you don't have any fear, you understand the flexibility this gives you defensively and offensively. Just to go over a few of the different attacks you have from this whizzer, and I like to do it when a man attacks a single leg, I bring him up to the whizzer immediately. So if I'm not punishing him, if he hits a shot, I'm not punishing him down and squaring up, or trying to step inside and hip toss, I bring him up and step behind. So it'll be, I bring him up off this leg, I'm going to step behind, and all I'm going to do is sit on my butt. I'm going to sit to my butt and pull him in with his whizzer. The whizzer, I have no space whatsoever. I'm slapping my chest. If I can't slap my chest, you better not be doing this throw, because as I go, there's too much space. Grab my chest. I'm going to sit as if I'm sitting in a chair. Sit, 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 and throw. As I'm sitting, you'll notice I'm not going to let go. I'm not going to turn my body until the very, very last second. And the reason for that is when I'm in this position, especially if Tim squares up a little bit, as I step, I want all the weight to be on this leg. Here. I'm sagging, all the weight's on the leg. If he steps that leg back when I'm getting to throw, I'm in big trouble. So I don't want that to be able to happen, especially if I have it off of, if he has a single leg, I like to bring my shoulder down below his chin, break it, bring it down to his ankle, and from here, I'm controlling the leg so he can't step away. And I'm not going to try to sweep this leg. All I'm doing is blocking the leg and putting all the weight on top of it. Right there. As the weight comes forward, I'm trying to lock him into my body, tight, as I'm going to sit into the chair. Visualize there's a chair behind you. You actually can even get a chair and just sit down a few times. So I'm sitting. Now, when I hit my butt, I'm not going to try to turn towards him and throw him to his back until my butt hits the mat. And the reason for that is if I go too fast, remember I'm trying to put all the weight on his leg. If I step out too soon, if I turn too soon, it releases the weight from that leg and he can step. Boom. So now watch and that's the other reason when I do this, I'm stepping all the way back, I'm not just trying to whip him. If I try to whip him, he can take that leg out. So I'll try to whip you, just take the leg out. Now, watch as I try to, as I hit my sag throw, I'm going to sit with him, and I'm not going to release until the very last second, and I want you to try to step your leg out. You simply can't do it. So once I put all that weight on the leg, and I'll let you see, once I step, now I'm sitting. Now go ahead and take the leg out. Can't take the leg out. So it's imperative that you use that sag motion and don't give it up until the very, very last second. All right. Also from here, if you don't like stepping behind, sometimes like Tim is doing right now, he's got that leg in here tight, and I'm not feel that comfortable, you can step inside as well. And here I'm going to take a big step and throw. If you don't feel comfortable stepping inside, if you feel like he's going to hip toss you here, boom, you don't have to. Step and drape. And you're going to be like a grapevine draping around his ankle. And now I'm going to really arch and pop. I'm going to step, step, and when I step, I'm going to extend this leg. If that's not comfortable, I can do a mule kick. Here, kick, ankle, which I've already shown you a little bit. If you're really good at this, you can actually hook his ankle, his wrist, mule kick, boom, like that. And if you land flat enough on his back, you can really knock the air out of your partner. You all right?
Yep.
One more time. One more time. Hook in the ankle, hook in the wrist. Step, back step, kick. You want their thigh, kick him right in the thigh or higher. You ready?
Yep.
Step, boom, right there. Boom. Right. Thanks. Those are just a number of different throws you can hit off your whizzer. It's a great move for defense. Very, very few people know what you can really do with a whizzer offensively. I think it's a move that young wrestlers can master with a great deal of just a little bit of time. It's certainly worth the investment, and it can get you out of a great deal of trouble. If you have any questions about the Whizzer series or any other moves, please feel free to contact me at my email, rk45@cornell.edu. Thank you for watching this video, and good luck.